Oh, and the great googly moogly. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking another look at the Socket 462 build. The thing we want to look at today is our CPU cooler. If you remember during the build, and for those of you who are new to the channel, or this is the first time seeing this machine here, it's a Socket 462. Got an AMD Athlon 2400 Plus XP, a Radeon, what is this thing, 2600 XT thing, AGP card. And this is a system that I built that I found an old forum post of mine, and it had the exact specs of a system I had. So I put it all together, and here we are. Anyways, when we were building this machine, we were trying to get it to be quieter because the cooler that it used to have had this little tiny fan on here, and it spins at like 8,000 RPM, and it's loud. So I 3D printed an adapter to replace this teeny tiny little fan. I don't even remember what this is, maybe a 40 millimeter, 60 millimeter. Anyways, I replaced it with a 92 millimeter fan, and it's pretty quiet. And I got myself one of these. What is this? It's a infrared, thermometer. Pointed at something, it tells you the temperature. And it's fairly accurate, as far as I can tell. Anyways, so yeah, I bought this from Home Depot. It was like $60, I think. And what it's going to allow me to do is, while it's running, I can hit the heatsink and get an accurate reading of what the temperature is. The only caveat being is I can't get like to the center of the die. So obviously the center of the CPU cooler or heatsink is going to be the epicenter of heat. And of course I've got this fan here, so I can't really I can't shoot in there and get that, but we'll do what we can. We'll take temperatures from the same place on the heatsink each time and record them and see if it's any better. And after we've put this through its paces, we'll get an idle temperature, we'll get a, under load temperature. We'll go ahead and swap that fan out for this one, and we'll see if that fan does any better than this. I mean, it's definitely quieter, and it keeps the computer happy. It doesn't crash or anything that due to heat. So I am fairly interested in knowing if we helped it or hurt it. And on top of that, I do just kind of want a reason to play with this, because this will be kind of nice to check various components and see if things are getting too hot, because your surface mount components, such as chipsets and stuff like that, heat affects them, and being able to accurately see what their temperature is going to be kind of helpful for diagnosing problems with motherboards and other various things. So why don't we get into that? I've always kind of liked this error here. No keyboard present. Press F1 to continue. I just forgot to plug in my keyboard, so we're booted up. I got everything's been sitting idle for a couple minutes now. So if we start shooting this at things, like say our North Bridge here, we can see 48.9. Depending on where you shoot the heatsink, it can change, because you're going to have a hot spot in the very center. The tops of your heatsink fins are going to be cooler, and the outside edges of your heatsink are going to be cooler. So we're like 45 on the edge and 49-ish in the middle. The same is going to hold true for our heatsink on the CPU. The closer we can get to the center, the hotter it's going to be, and further out to the edges is going to be cooler. And on top of that, the temperature of the heatsink isn't an indicator of how well it's cooling your CPU. Really, if the CPU cooler is cool, then it might not be drawing enough heat into itself and then dissipating out. If it could also be very cool and cooling off the CPU well, because the fan is dissipating heat more. It's really a hard thing to quantify on whether or not it's doing a good job. A temperature sensor inside the CPU would really be the best place to get an accurate reading from. So we're gonna shoot this at various spots on the CPU cooler, and like I said, I can't really go too far to the inside of the cooler. So these numbers are going to be a little bit skewed. So we're reading about 39.6 at this up here on the very top right, we'll call it. Bottom right, similar, 45.5. And then the middle of it, 41.0. The reason why the middle edge of the cooler would be cooler than the top edges is because the way this this fan adapter is designed. There's a good section of the heatsink that doesn't really get a whole lot of coverage from the fan. It's going to be more centered on a circle. The fan is blowing in a circle down onto the CPU heatsink, so your outside edges, like your extreme corners here, aren't going to get as much cooling as, say, where the air can go through. So I'm going to go ahead and heat this up with a few rounds of Cinebench 2008. So it's finishing up its last round here, and right at the middle is 43.1 degrees. Something interesting, the bottom right corner is like 47.8, it's almost 48. And the top right is like 42. So that's actually kind of interesting. It might be that there's a lot of air movement here because the power supply fan is actually kind of aggressive and it's sucking a lot of air up that way. So the top of it's probably getting cooling from that. To get a real good test of this, I probably should have taken the board out, but I'm kind of lazy. I've said that before. This should probably be running on my test bench, but you know, it is what it is. And this is just kind of like, just a curiosity. So it's already cooling back down to like 40 degrees in the middle. So what did we have? We had like 40, like 42 of it. Anyways, I'll do this. I'll put stuff up on the screen so we can see. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my 92 millimeter fan off, my adapter off, put this back on there, run my tests again, and we'll see if this thing is doing any better than this thing. So this one's going to be a little bit easier to get some nice measurements from. Again, none of this is scientific, but if we see numbers, we already know how much heat that heatsink can draw out. If this is a better fan than that one, the heatsink should be hotter. Like I said, we already know it can draw out enough heat to keep it cool. So we're looking for, you know, right here was like 41, and I'll put the numbers on the screen somewhere. We had like a 48 down here and a 42 up here or something like that. Anyways, let's get it going. All right, we've been idling for a while. Let's zap this thing. So we're like 42 and a half on, you know, I mean, can you see that? Yeah, right there on the edge in the middle. Top is 41 and a half. So the top's a little cooler, bottom 46. Yeah, the temperature down at the bottom is strange. Okay, so let us cook it up with Cinebench 2003, and we'll be right back. And up that last run, and we're about 44.4 in the middle, top 44, bottom 48. So very similar. So this might not have been a big upgrade, or maybe the heatsink is kind of overkill for this processor. Not that this processor is pushing a ton of power. It is the XP2400 and not the 32. I do have something that I ordered off of eBay from Canada, all the way up from our friends up north, that I think might help us out a little bit, because I do have plans for the future of this machine. I do want better cooling. So in here is, well, I'll go ahead and spoil it. There's supposed to be a Gigabyte G-Power Pro in here, which I have no reason to believe that it wouldn't be in here. But let's crack it open. How's this box? It's really well sealed and packaged. Anyways, this is, wow, can you do it from here? There we go. Not the, you know, creme de la creme as far as 462 socket A coolers go. But this thing should do really nicely. There we go. So, whoa, don't fall out. So it is a sort of, I guess you'd call this a low profile tower cooler. Anyways, we got heat pipes on there. This thing should be beef. And then I got, what are those? So what do we got here? We got our fan. Missing the sticker, which is kind of bum, but no weird noises. Really fluid, and oh, it's got LEDs, so that'll be good for a few FPS. I honestly have no idea what these are. Oh, I bet you they hold the fan on. So, alright, cool. We'll slap this thing on there. We got our 4 heat pipes. We got a lot of square surface area that we can cool off here. And then, unfortunately, I don't have a great place to zap this thing and find out whether or not it's running cooler. But for oh, whoa, hey, did you see that? Anyways, what was I trying to say? We'll hit it with the laser somewhere and see how well it's cooling. Okay, so after going back and looking at the eBay auction and everything, it only was supposed to come with this clip, which is kind of unfortunate. We're gonna need the socket A one, of course. However, I think I can just use the retention clip from the socket A cooler that I have right now, and it should work fine. I should be able to get this to work. If I don't get it to work, well, you'll never actually see this because I won't put it in the video, and I will quietly and silently stick it on the side, and we'll wait for it to be a thing I can use possibly in the future. That's a bummer. But yeah, let me mess around with it and see what we can do. Alright, let's see here. Take this guy out of here. Alright, so I'm hoping that I can use the clip from this one to install the whatnot, the new cooler. It's gonna be a shame if I can't, because it took a while to get here. Just laid plans and all, you know. Alright, we're gonna try something against my better judgment here. I don't even know if I can even get this on there. Maybe I'll take that in. The issue with using this from this is that this thickness here, from your surface here to the top here, is different than that thing's mounting surface. That one's a little bit thicker, so I mean, like, this flexes. So hopefully I can get it on there. That's really going to be hard to get to. I have to take the power supply out. Oh gosh. Me being lazy, I don't want to take it all the way out. I don't want to unhook this stuff. All right, I am fighting this, and let me show you what I'm fighting. First of all, I got big hands. There's not a lot of room in here, and I'm sure this originally came with some sort of clip that, if you can see, sort of. So these two little humps here, and you can see two little holes on them. I'm sure the factory or the original one of these retaining brackets clipped in there and held in place. Well, I don't have that luxury. I get to sort of like reach my fingers in here and try to hold it in place while I come around the other side here, try to get that into place. I think it's gonna work. I really do. And I can't do it with this camera in the way. I do apologize, but it's super tedious and it's putting all the butterflies in my stomach. And I will come back. I will be victorious. All right, success. We got that in there. Not a great angle there. Let's go inside. So it took quite a bit of bending on that retaining bracket to get it in there. And everything's really snug. The only thing I don't like is, like, I mean, with a little bit of force, you can get it to, you know, skew. It should be okay. Let's get that. Let's get the fan on there. Okay, so imagine this is the best side port. Yeah, why not? Oh, and the great googly moogly. Does this work? Yeah, it'll just be like that. God, that's so much pressure. Is that the best way they could think of to put this on there? That's awful. That's actually legitimately awful. It's doing to that top tab, but like I don't want that to break. I really, really don't want that to break. Like it doesn't, there's no positive, like, satisfying click that it went on. It just kind of mushes into place. Oh God. Gigabyte, I'm glad that you have better ways of doing things now. But this is stupid. Because now you have to come around here. Oh, I wish this was on before I... Now I'm like fighting it. Well, I mean, after you've done it once and you're no longer scared of breaking them, you just kind of pop on. Without too much protest. Gigabyte, this is lame. I know this is a product from 15 years ago, but geez. Oh, I don't like any of this. About to get some zip ties to tell you the truth. Yeah, that's not an option. There's not enough flex in this to do that. Then you need to be a brave boy. Okay. Oh, there we go. So it's on there. So a couple of you have said that having 3 sticks in here can lead to instability. So far I haven't had an issue. Time will tell. There we go, there we go, there we go. It's a beautiful thing. Everything's all right side up, and I'm pretty happy with the install. Just the sheer mass of this should do a lot better than this. Not that we were having cooling problems, like I said, but I got plans for this that, well, this little guy here isn't going to cut it for. So let's fire it up. Hopefully there's no weird sounds. Wow, that's loud for a large fan. But it's providing cooling for our north bridge. So there is not much that I can get a laser on. That metal sort of, what are you going to call it? I don't know. Bracket. It doesn't allow me to hit the heat. What do you call it? It doesn't allow me to hit the cold side of the cooler or whatever. So I can hit. Where's my laser? So I can hit right there. That's the metal that encases the heat pipes. So we'll see if that's a suitable place to zap. So I had completely forgotten this PC probe can read the temperatures on the motherboard here. Well, for the CPU, but I think this was more an excuse for me to be able to play with my new toy here. So yeah, there's PC probe, and it says it's running or idling at 42. So the north bridge used to read 50, and now that we have this big fan, we're at 40. Not that 50 was high. PC probe is saying 44. The heat pipes are at 37.3, 35.8, 36.6. 6.2. If nothing else, this fan here is cooling off the back of the GPU, the north bridge, all these little components. These were at 50. I didn't do it on camera, but like my capacitors and stuff were getting to 50. The RAM was getting up to the mid 40s. Can we reach that one? No, not really. So I think that it's doing well. And PC probe says 47 degrees on the CPU, 46, 47. Looks like that's where we were maxing out, 46, 47. Man, now I wish I would have used PC probe. I think I used it before though. I'll dig into my old footage and see if I can't find something. So after running Cinebench 2003 a few times, this is weird, it's going up, I stopped it. As you can see here, we touched 54 degrees a couple of times. Alright, well that is going to wrap it up for that. I think it's worth it to hold on to this. It keeps the surrounding components cooler. 46, 47 is the max we hit with it, which ain't too bad. This guy is not going to be enough for the plans for this box, so we're going with that. And as I said, it cools down all the stuff around it, and I had a reason to play with this guy. I like this guy. 43, yeah, it's just fun. This was a short one. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I got a chance to use my new toy here. I got to drink some coffee, and I got to watch some Cinebench, which is always fun. So see you in the next one. Don't know when we're going to see this machine again, but like I said, I do want to do some stuff on it. Maybe some overclocking, maybe get a 3200, Athlon XP 3200. I also want to get a different GPU for this. This one's kind of just I had it. There's better out there. In fact, I have a better one in my Pentium 4 system, but I don't think I want to steal from that. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.